Hello, Prim friends. Hear that sound? If you are familiar with that sound, I hope you comment below. Let me know that you have been here. I am back inside Seville Antiques to give you a middle of August, towards the end of August tour. There have been a lot of changes, people moving around and adding some booths here in the shop, and it looks really, really wonderful. It always does, but when things get a big change up, then it really seems to add some new excitement and makes everything look different. There have been a lot of booths that have done a really big refresh, so I thought I would bring you in now and take you on a tour. So Seville Antiques is located at 14 Milton Street. They do have a Facebook page. They are always open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Sunday, or Sunday through Saturday, except for Tuesdays. Tuesdays, the shop is closed. Now, for some holidays, they may also be closed as well. So always a good idea if you're coming from out of town to give the shop a call ahead of time, and also check the Facebook page. That's always a good idea, especially if you are coming from out of town. So this is John and Grace Brock's booth. Look at those wonderful, look like almost elephant garlic with the flowers still attached on the top, and some really neat lighting and a beautiful early dry sink. This booth has had a new paint job. They've lightened the color up a bit. It does seem to be the trend now in some ways. Maybe that's a post-COVID type thing, I don't know, but I am seeing that more and more, that the trend online is that more people are moving a bit away from the dark backgrounds, and they're kind of lightening up and refreshing a bit. But it's such a personal decision and a very personal feeling for what you want to do in your space. But the fun thing is that by putting the light colored paint on the walls, if you were in the dark, it makes a huge transformation. Really, really big difference. There's some neat boot scrapers there. She does have some wonderful early fireplace tools. I love that hook rack there, that sort of a peg rack, but with carved branches right off of a tree. A nice little loom, tape loom. If you haven't yet seen it, make sure to check out the video that I did in Smithville, Ohio, in a facility there. They were having a fiber festival. And I do want to let you know that I have some just amazing videos upcoming. I will be going to a longtime dealer's home. The house, if I remember correctly, is over 175 years old. And my understanding is that it is loaded, absolutely loaded with early prim antiques. So that video will be up and coming here within the next few days. Well, what day is it today? It will be after Saturday. So probably, hopefully, if all goes as planned, that video will be up for you this upcoming Sunday. But more videos between today and Sunday. I love that grain painted trunk. Just beautiful. You know, as I've gone around in different areas, I have a lot of comments from people talking about how blessed we are here in Ohio with all of these amazing primitive pieces. And I can tell you, while I was at the Historical Society in Smithville, I did pick up a book that was talking about the Ohio, one particular county, Wayne County, Ohio cabinet makers from, I think it was 1820 to 1900. The book was loaded with photographs from the work of those incredible artisans. And so I think we have such a great combination here in Ohio, not only of the pieces coming from the East Coast as families migrated west, but we also have had and continue to have an incredible tradition of some of the finest cabinet makers in the state of Ohio, and certainly in this Northeast Ohio area. So we are doubly blessed that as people came through from the East Coast and emigrated and went west, that many of their pieces, and sometimes even the families, remained in this area. This dry sink has really caught my attention. I think that is new here in the shop, and it is stunning. Love the size. You don't very often see them with the additional drawers. This piece on top is some sort of a noodle board, so it does have the open dry sink portion in the top. I cannot imagine that that is going to last here for very long. That is an absolutely gorgeous piece. Beautiful baskets as well, the early lighting pieces. So much fun. Love the desk hanging there from the wall, which is nice if you don't have all that much floor space to put something. That's a really sweet little desk there hanging from the wall on a couple of little brackets. Very nice wooden funnel. Definitely a traditionally early piece. Nice early grater. Love that narrow little perhaps crock bench or something there, and they're using it on the wall as a shelf. Just so clever. We can just get so many ideas from coming to antique shops about how to stage, how to display our pieces in our homes. So when you go to an antique shop, even if you're not necessarily buying or you don't find anything on that particular day, there is just a wealth of information that you can get between learning pricing or trends in pricing, and then also perhaps how to display. There's some pantry boxes and measures stacked. Here, if you were ever in an estate sale or a house sale, sometimes these pieces will end up in the tool area. But that is, again, many of you who've watched our channel, you'll know that that piece is for snipping the sugar from the sugar cones. Again, another area here with crocks and some cracked pots. Cute. These over here have a little bit of damage, but they're still so worthy of being displayed on a shelf and in your home. You know, you turn the design out and you still have a beautiful display piece. So we'll head on down into this area. Some neat pieces here. A beautiful sailfish. Little single drawer table, little coverlet, and a blanket box. So I'll give you a little tip of something that we've done in our home with wanting to have the primitive look as much as possible, and I promise there will be a video coming. We will have a video coming from inside the Cape. But one of the things that we have done with having 2 cats, 2 fur babies, I was able to find a couple of antique trunks that were antique, but they didn't really have any particular great historic value, that if I was cutting into them that we were going to cause some monumental damage to a, historic piece. They aren't. There are some trunks that, can be $50, $75, $100 pieces. And what we did was cut a small opening in one side, and we put the litter box inside there. So we change the litter, you open the top of the box, you open the top of and the kitties have their privacy. And yet that piece can be really sort of completely out in the open, and you wouldn't realize that what it is actually a litter box. So maybe, if you're trying to find a solution for something that's, plastic and perhaps unsightly, that's one solution that maybe we can offer. Beautiful baking table would make an incredible island in a kitchen. That is really a nice piece. Early baker's table. Love the early color on that. And then these pieces pull out, so there's more space, more cutting space if you need it. This is a fun booth. Just loaded. Really have to look close so you can see everything there is here to see. Some neat cabins. Lovely any time of year, but especially nice in the fall. And of course, starting with some of the Halloween decorations coming, and the gourds. Seville Antiques is starting to make that a bit of a transition now into some of those, the fall holiday look, and I will be starting to bring that into my booth area as well. It's a fun booth as well. This is Dean Hicks. He's been a dealer for a very long time. Has some really beautiful things. I adore this little cabinet, this step back. It's not too big. It would be so easy and sweet to tuck into a corner somewhere in your room, in your home. Just a really lovely piece. Very pretty. Has a nice finish on it. Not everybody wants that dry barn finish. That one has a little bit of a softer look, not quite such a barn finish. Very pretty. Glass front cabinet would be beautiful as a display in a home. So I started to say why I haven't had a video out yet. And one reason, among others, is my parents have passed on to me the set of china that they received from my great-grandmother. And so I don't really have a cabinet for this very large set of china. And so right now it is in various sizes and shapes of containers, and sitting in the dining room area of our Cape. So I have been looking at and for a corner cabinet that would fit with the rest of the house in order to get all of that beautiful china put away. My sweet, long departed, actually, great-grandparents had gifted that to my parents when they had gone to Florida and visited them. And they had included it and the family silver silverware in a box and told my parents, now don't look until you get home. And so now that has been passed on to me. And what is so neat is that it has a really beautiful floral pattern. And so it's really, really wonderful that something that was my great-grandparents that I had met and knew and had visited as a small child, that floral pattern is now at home with me where we have a flower farm. So seems like the generations, it all kind of comes together. And it's really been fun putting things together, but I also realize that there's a lot of storage space that we're going to need to add with cabinets and cupboards in our new home, which was actually sort of my intention. Not having the cabinets necessarily all built in, but being able to do sort of that mixed, collected look with lots of cabinets and antique pieces. So this is my new booth. I have another one here beside me. You can see I have not yet filled that corner up with the gourds, the hanging gourds. I also have a lot of artichokes that I've started drying. So that'll be something that will be fun here in the booth when time goes on a little bit further and they're a little bit more dried. So this is a new piece to me here in the booth as well. And so as I restage the area that's down here, we'll be using this really neat early cabinet to be able to fill with more things. I am hoping that maybe by Saturday evening, the video that I've promised of a lot of the items that are currently on our side porch will be happening this upcoming Saturday afternoon. So be watching for that. And this is an area here that I really want to get a table for as soon as I find one. These little green painted chairs are so charming. They'd be beautiful in a garden. I am appalled by these yellow vinyl seats. But I don't want to take them out because if you were to cover them with, say, a feet sack, they would be really, really cute. And if you haven't bought foam lately for upholstery, you would know, if you have bought it recently, how very expensive it is right now. So I prefer to leave those cushions there for somebody to be able to recover them. But in the meantime, they're not very cute. But the chairs are comfortable to sit in, and they're just so cute. The other thing that these chairs would be perfect for is, and these are not connected, so they're very easy to pull out, would be to just drop a flower pot with one of the wide plastic rims on it, and just drop that right in there, and you'd have these beautiful little green chairs in your garden with a blooming flower pot, or maybe a pot of ivy, or perhaps even a pot of herbs, maybe a mint that you don't want to put actually all the way into the ground. They would just be very, very sweet. So in the meantime, if you're in the shop and you see those cushions, you'll know the method or the madness behind leaving those. Yes, we'll call them mustard because that sounds more primitive. Here's a pretty little flat to the wall cabinet, and in doing the restaging, I do have 50% off right now of the Armital pewter pieces that are here in the booth. So if you are interested in collecting, or you want to add some to your collection or your set, there's a lot of pieces there, And I actually have some more at home that I'm going to be bringing in. I think those are either the dinner plates or the under plates that would go with that as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, I am happy to ship that. We'd probably do that in one of the flat rate boxes. So that would not be a big deal to ship. This is an early dresser. Would also be very pretty in a dining room for your napkins and table linens and things like that. And that is one of the IOD, what do they call those? Transfers that's been put on there. It's just so pretty in a bedroom. Has the glass knobs, just a really pretty piece of furniture, an antique piece of furniture actually. Those glass knobs, and then it does have the dovetails on the corners. And you know, it is priced at, I don't even want to say. I have it priced right now at $135 because I really want the space. So if you're in the area and you're interested in that at all, come and get it, because it's almost free. It's less than what I paid for the cabinet. Some of the china pieces left in. There's a sweet little mouse here in the corner and a little chalkboard, slate board. So we'll keep on going. This is actually the color is coming out pretty good in this picture right now. It's really sort of a teal green cubby that was, I'm sure, in some sort of a hardware store at some time, because it has 1/4 plus 1, 1/4 plus 8, all the different measurements there. Also a Putnam fadeless die container here, has several of the dies still in it. Really good condition. Just a beautiful, if you are into rug hooking or fiber arts with dyeing, it's just a beautiful piece. Great place to put your dies actually, even today. And then I still have a few of the woven coverlet tablecloth squares and pieces like that. So definitely, if I haven't said it recently, we are located here at 14 Milton Street in Seville, Ohio. We're about, I'd say an hour and a half north of Columbus, maybe 35-40 minutes south of the Cleveland area. And this is a very special booth as well. This dealer has been to several of the local shows. So there's a corner cabinet. Yeah, something like that is really what I'm looking for home, to house that very large collection of china that I have been gifted by my parents. And my parents have been collecting additional pieces over the years, for many years. It's always been fun to look for because it's sort of a more difficult to find pattern, which makes it more fun, I think. If you don't see it everywhere, then when you do see it, you do grab it. And they'd been buying enough pieces, hoping at one point, perhaps, to divide the set between myself and my brother. And it was kind of it's a long story. But anyway, my brother is very, very much into mid-century modern. And so since the pattern really didn't go with his and his wife's style, they graciously said, go ahead. And if it fits for my sister's stuff, go ahead and let her have it, which was very, very sweet and very gracious. So it will be coming to a home where it will certainly be treasured. So this is another one of the booths here that you really want to look closely at, because there is a lot here. A Love the baskets hanging from those drying racks. When we talk to people about or answer questions, how do we start? How do we start? Jan, I know you know this one if you're watching this video, that one of those pieces, one of those drying racks is a wonderful way to begin decorating or redecorating a room in the early American and primitive style, because they're not terribly expensive all on their own if they're just a generic form of them. And then there's so many different things that you can hang on them, whether it is dried herbs or flowers from your garden. In fact, you can dry them right hanging there on those peg parts. Baskets, you could start with some baskets that aren't particularly old, but maybe just vintage. And then as you get further into collecting, you can always upgrade the baskets if you choose to, or hang other kinds of things, perhaps maybe some early linens, some early calicos that you might find, bonnets, the sock dryers. But that one little piece in a corner or on a wall would make such a beginning statement that's easy to add to. So that's usually one of the things that I recommend as a first piece if it's something that you're interested in getting into this style. So this is a beautiful booth. Also, this is Matt Ershman's booth. He's also at several of the shows. Matt's style and his wares are the very early finish. So the early paints, all of that is really what he is very well known for. Just beautiful pieces. Love this piece right here too. Gorgeous. Nice for putting some larger things, or if you have a piece that has the large space between, you could put some big baskets in there, fill it with blankets or coverlets. Can you imagine the number of quilts that could be stacked in that if you have a very large collection of them? Little booth here, lots of smalls, some pretty crocks there in the corner, and some sweet little ironstone pieces. Very sweet. Little pair of child slippers. All right, so here's another booth that has had a huge transformation. And when I turn the other way, if you've watched our videos, you may recognize this space, but it has really, so this is all one person's area, and when I turn around, it's the one that I usually say this is a booth you definitely always have to look up, because there are so many things that are stacked high. But check that out. So it has made a huge transformation. Lots more things placed on the walls. This is another great idea for displaying pieces that is quick and pretty easy to do. They took 2 ladders, or maybe it was 1 ladder, and cut it in half, and then used old boards to create shelves. Is that not just the most clever use of a couple of ladders? I was blown away. And the most amazing thing in this booth is how open and how different it really feels now. And look at this beautiful, perhaps harvest table. Again, would make a beautiful island. Has these big drawers. And this was in this booth, but we really could never see it before. The paint on this is so pretty, and I love this little really elegant picture frame sort of finish around the corners of the top. Love this table. Beautiful. Wonder how long, now that it is out here, how long this may last. I have a feeling that this one is going to find a home very soon, now that this has all been changed. And the next booth's over also. Huge transformation and all new things to here at Seville Antiques. There's another one of those drawing racks. So charming, filled with baskets. There's a couple here. Here's a double drawing rack. Pull it out one way and the other way. They're awesome in all kinds of rooms, whether you're putting that in a laundry, perfectly wonderful there, but also neat in a living room or a family room or a bedroom. I can't imagine a room really where it wouldn't go. Another nice open cupboard filled, sweet child's cupboard up on top. Lots of tins, if that might be something that you're collecting. Pretty piece of ironstone. Lots of copper pieces there. Really sweet. Pretty buggy bench, buggy seat. Very nice. Lots of bowls, wooden bowls. You can't ever have too many of those if you collect early antiques. Sweet child's kind of rocker, buggy seat, kind of a bouncer there with the horse. And then this sweet Santa Claus sitting on, I think, a little bear. That is an Arnett piece. So if you're looking for Arnett, and it's the middle of August, here's a wonderful place to get one. Put it away for someone. It's very special for Christmas. Another wonderful booth. Lots of early paint here in this one. Cracked wheat bread, soft bun bread. Very unique pieces. Beautiful wall box there in that corner. So this booth now is filled with all new things here to the shop. Really neat pieces, wonderfully priced. This is a dealer that is here from Seville Antiques, and they have expanded to another booth. And again, these are all pieces that are new to the shop. Looks like a neat grinder up there in a pretty color. Some candle molds, lemon squeezers, lots of wooden butter churns, a couple wall boxes, and some paddles. This little spice cubby. This is a sweet piece. Yes, sweet. Now she does not ship, and I really haven't mentioned the other ones who have. I'm going a little bit faster, I think, than normal, trying to get the whole entire shop in. Your very best bet is to make a trip. You really should see it in person if you're able. If you're in the area or within a few hours of driving, it's just a wonderful shop. There are over 5,000 square feet. I think it's 30 plus dealers. The whole shop, top to bottom, beginning to end, is all early pieces. That's a unique Little cup, two-handled, beautiful. What's that? Interesting. Interesting design. Couple of snowbirds. My parents actually bought one. There were 3, and those are on their mantle along with their other patriotic pieces that they've added. So I am excited about bringing you on a tour in the Cape, but like I've said, there are just so many things that aren't quite settled yet, but we're getting there. I guess I want it to be not perfect. It is a work in progress. You go from one house to another and not everything fits. Not everything is right there. And so we're kind of going through that transformation to what this house needs and wants. Neat prim produce sign. Love that. Nice big trencher, another big trunk. Fun things. So this one here is Diane Garner's booth. Diane does ship. She also does shows all over the country. Well, maybe this side of the Mississippi, I guess I should say. I don't think she's on the other side. Really neat pieces. Beautiful fireplace mantle. Nice large size, not always easy to find that size. Great bucket bench. It's a wonderful display for all kinds of things. Some spinner gourds, some dried okra. Pretty early cabinet, lots of breadboards. More drieds, some sunflowers, and a hornbeam. A hornbeam, if you've seen our earlier videos, you understand or know. It's really a hollowed out tree trunk portion where you would have used it in the early days to store something, whether that was grain or, various things. Like I've said, you didn't have, Tupperware or Rubbermaid back then. This is a really nice little cabinet with a single door. There are probably 50 places in our new home where we could have something like that, but I'm hesitant. Tell me if you felt like this when you went into your first new place or your new place. I'm hesitant about hanging things on the walls yet. Now, I know you can move them, but somehow in my mind, I feel like it's brand new. I have not put a nail in the drywall yet. Is that silly? I just don't want to poke a hole in it yet. And I know that when I do, that might not be where it's going to end up. So I'm going to end up moving things, but somehow I'm just having a hard time making that first, I don't know. I'll get over it. But right now I have things, artwork type things, hooked rugs, antique pieces, just sort of piled up in corners because I'm not ready to start the process of displaying it all yet. I don't have the vision quite yet of where it's all going to go. I'll start and then I won't be able to stop, but right now, I guess it starts with that first piece, doesn't it? That first piece that you know that's the perfect spot, and then you just go. But I'll get there. That's a neat grain painted piece. Ooh, wonderful price on that grain painted piece. 3-door painted decorated cupboard. Lovely. All right, let's head in this way to the buttery. Lots of smalls here. All kinds of different things. Just fun little spot. People always seem to be able to find something here. This says Shaker's Choice Vegetable Seeds. It had to have been added on there after, but really, really sweet. Neat little accessory piece. Pretty stuff. I really think this is tiger maple, which just really surprises me that this is still here. I may have to buy this one day and show you what you can do with some of the pieces that are tiger maple, but just don't quite show it off as well as maybe it could and should. And as I love tiger maple, it's probably my favorite wood in our home. But there is a way to make that really, I don't want to say sparkle, but really make it show. So we'll probably pick that up and put that at the front counter, and I'll do that as a video as well to kind of show you what you can use very simply in order to make that pop. And actually, that is screwed on there, so we need a screwdriver to get that off. Okay, maybe that's another reason why it's still there. It's meant to be there so that we can do a video with it. So this booth right here, this is a dealer who is retiring from being an antique dealer here. And so everything in the booth is 30% off. Going out of business, thank you for many wonderful years. Really sweet old wagon seat, just a tiny little one. Pretty basket and some nice little hand stitched doll quilts. Very pretty. So we definitely check out this booth. Well, all the booths here at Seville. And you can go through quickly, kind of zip through, or you can really take your time here. Because if you are new to antiques, you can learn so very much by reading the tags. So much to learn. These are neat. The little Christmas light. These are lovely in your windows. You don't have to use the candles anymore, so no risk for the fires. But they were often hung underneath those large oil lamps and would have held matches. It would have been underneath the bottom of them. You don't very often see them with it anymore, but those are really pretty pieces. They're lovely with a little battery operated light in your windows at Christmas time on your windowsill. So this down here is another new dealer that's just started moving some things in. This is Michelle, her booth. Love that giant white pumpkin down there. Pretty mantle. Another pretty prim cupboard and some accessories. Neat early screen door. And then this is the Schroeder's booth. They are actually going to be in Primitive Place magazine, I think in the spring. So make sure you watch for that. Here's a small little drying rack, and this one of course has the smaller dainty dried lavender and maybe sage hanging from it. But this would be wonderful in your kitchen, hanging your washcloths off of it or your tea towels. It'd just be perfect because when you're finished, you could have it very close to your sink. And when you're done, you could just sort of close it up and it'd be out of your way. But a fun way that you can actually use one of your antique and early pieces in your decorating. Neat pieces, some painted, pretty blue cabinet there in the corner. Lots of really charming prim pieces here. It's an interesting door, I would say, is probably from, well, I don't know, maybe from a barn, maybe a bank, maybe a speakeasy. Here's another pretty booth with a little log cabin. Love that little one drawer stand. Those as well, the one drawer stands, are so nice for decorating, and they're so easy to slip just one more in here and there and then be able to accessorize with it. More crocks and a carrier. Those are nice if you're having a picnic outdoors. Put your silverware in there, your napkins, carry it outside. Just again, I like to use my prim pieces when I'm able to. So those are fun ones to pick up and add, and they're beautifully displayed on your table, on your kitchen table, on a countertop. Just fun pieces. And then this is Gina Hooven's booth. Lots of baskets. She has this prim style down to a science. Really pretty. Love those barrels with the paint. Really neat. Very neat corner cabinet as well. There's a door hung sideways that really adds. That would also be neat in a bedroom behind or as your headboard. Would be wonderful. So Gina's booth, she also has a sign here that says 20% off of items that are over $50. And I actually had seen, but I don't think I mentioned, that Schroeder's have a summer sale, 20% off items that are marked DS if those items are $100 or over. So great time to come in. Love that crow and the early baskets. Oh, again, already starting the decoration for the fall with the wonderful corn stalks. Gina pretty much does not ship. So again, if you see something here in one of these booths, you will definitely want to come in. It's a nice herb chopper, round breadboard. Love the crock bench there hanging on the wall. Great way to display it. This wonderful, I just love this. With the red on the rings there, on the wash bucket, with the wooden ringer on top. Just so clever. So pretty. And you know it was used, you know it was loved, and it was saved and passed on. So if you're still with me in this video at this point, I hope that you do enjoy these videos. I hope that you do share them with your friends on social media, in other Facebook perhaps groups that enjoy prim and early American style country pieces and just these wonderful saved pieces of our American history. These shops, these kind of shops where they are so filled with this sort of style are not the norm. They're not in every little antique shop and corner store. To have these many pieces, this many dealers who specialize in this. So while you can go to the shows that are, on this part of the country, spring and fall and some around the Christmas season, coming to Seville Antiques is sort of like going to a show 6 days a week, where you're going to see 30 wonderful dealers who specialize in this early style. Here's a couple of hog scraper candlesticks. That one looks like something is etched or impressed in that. I see a J.A. and then there are more initials after that. Not sure what that one says. And here's another. Not seeing anything pressed into that one. Also, nice base on it. There is something I want to show you. There is one of the dealers here does have the early of style. Here are the hand wrought candle wick snips. So we're going to go out this direction, and I'm going to show you if you're looking for the various styles and the earliest version of the hog scraper candlesticks, I'll show you what you want to look for. And so in this booth, oh, she's got lots of samplers over there too. I don't think I noticed those before. There's several really beautiful. Betsy Parker, born 1797. Born August 10th, 1797. Wow. Stunning. And then this is neat. It looks like it's a book probably would have been held there. A music stand. And then it has the candles on the edges in order to provide the light. That is simply amazing. But over here are, where did I see them? Yes, right here. A couple of very early hog scraper candlesticks. They do have the hook to hang behind on the back of the chair. And then these have the cleats in the bottom. And my understanding is then this is even older than the ones with the handmade screw and nut in the bottom. So if you're out and about and you are searching and you come across this style in the base, you now know what you've got. So please like, share, comment. I haven't gotten to a lot of your comments, but actually I know that this weekend, probably Saturday evening, if not before then, I'm going to have some time to get to responding to a lot of your comments. We do have a flower farm. I have a full-time job. We have a flower farm. And I enjoy making these videos and then having the antique shop as well. So summertime, I'm really, really busy. But if you come to Seville Antiques and you come and visit the shops, Bill Romey's shop that we've done videos from, and you guys all just adore his gardens and his shop, as you should. It is amazing. And I have asked him, and he does actually do all of the gardening himself. he's only about 25 minutes from this shop. But if you're in the area and it's the summertime still, early fall, you can stop at our roadside flower stand that is literally 5 minutes from Seville Antiques. So you would be able to see the flowers, see where they are grown, see the flowers, pick up a bouquet, and see where the actual cape on the corner that we've built is located. So again, hope you like, share, comment below, ring that little bell. Ringing the bell tells you when a new video has been uploaded. So of all of the things here in the shop, what would you have picked up? What would be on your list? What would be on your Christmas list if you were to make a wish list for Seville Antiques? I'm curious. What is the latest thing? What is the thing that people now are collecting? More than anything else, what are you looking for? I love knowing that, so that when I'm out hunting, I know what I should be looking for. So I'm going to wrap it up at this point. Take care, everyone. It's up to you to make the rest of the week a wonderful one. Make it the best. Be someone's sunshine. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.